Today is probably, well, we never know, but probably going to be a pretty boring day because it's a no news Monday. We're incredibly bullish, taking the previous daily high already. Super, super bullish here. If we, sorry, if we get a nice retracement and then a bullish trade, I could see myself potentially taking that with half risk though, because it is a no news Monday. But yeah, let's simply wait and see. The market is open, right? We had a strong move on the open, 3 bullish candles in a row here on the 1 minute. So let's see what happens when we close with this 15-minute candle here, or well, once we close with the next 2 5-minute candles, or we can potentially even see a zone for retracement already. But let's wait and see. So we can see here this 5-minute candle closed very bullish. Next 5-minute candle is coming in here. Let's see how this one closes. Like always, if there's any questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. So we can see here on the 5 minute, this candle is about to close very bullish as well, right? So what do we get? We get a 5 minute FEG. But this candle, if this candle closes super bullish, potentially this could be a breakaway gap, meaning we just continue higher without tapping into it. But let's not make any assumptions. We always simply trade what we see. So we can see we closed bullish here. We closed bullish, but not super bullish, right? So potentially there could be a retracement, but we'd never know. So let's wait and see. This 15-minute candle is probably going to close very bullish as well. The issue currently that we're having is when we look at the charts, right? We're at an all-time high. You know, NQ is at an all-time high, which of course doesn't give us data to the left, right? So we kind of just got to work with it. And if price wants to continue up, there is no target, right? There is no target here. So what do we do in that case? Usually, if we take a buy, we'll just target 2R and take partials at 1R. That's usually what I do in this scenario. Unless we get like an internal target. What I mean by that is, if we, for example, let me draw this out here. Where is it? If we, for example, come down here, you know, we do whatever, let's say like this, and we take a trade kind of here, then of course our internal target would be this high, you know. That's kind of what we can do in a situation like this, because otherwise we simply don't have any liquidity to target, right? So we don't know how far price wants to go up or whatever. So let's wait and see what happens here with this 5-minute candle, if we get a retracement or if we simply continue higher. I do want to talk about one topic really quickly, which is a super important topic, which I haven't talked about in a while. And it is super important because this one mistake destroys more trading accounts than anything else. You might know it. It's called revenge trading. You take a loss, and instead of simply accepting that loss, you try to win it back immediately. You're red on the day, but you want to be green on the day. So you trade, you continue trading, and this loss that was small turns into you blowing the whole account. And that is a huge issue, because the market is never your enemy, but your emotions are. And these small losses are part of the game. But if you can't take those losses, you'll revenge trade, and you'll make them even worse. And that is, of course, a big issue that I wanted to talk about, because I see it all the time with beginners. They make this mistake, and I used to make that mistake as well. You know, was definitely not good. But yeah, it's something that you never really stop kind of thinking about. You never not have this emotion like, oh, I want to be green on the day, because that's a normal emotion to have, right? Like, I want to win, I want to make money and not lose money. That's fully normal, right? So you can't change the fact that you have those emotions somewhere, but you can change how you react to them, right? That's what you got to do. So we can see the 5 minute here closed pretty, like it wants to retrace, but now this 5 minute candle is pushing up quite a bit, which is interesting. So we'll wait and see what happens here. Essentially what we have is this 1 minute FEG here. So if we were to trade very aggressively, we could take a buy here, but we don't trade very aggressively, right? So we don't take this buy. We'll simply wait here. Because you can see, right, on the 1 minute, the bearish FEG was disrespected, right? So potentially what you could do is, take something like this. But since we are at like all-time highs, I'm not going to take this, right? Because it is technically what you'd call a valid trade, right? But it is also a trade that's just not high probability. Why? Because the 5 minute candle here does not have a downside wick. If it would have a downside wick, if it would have wicked in here, I would have taken the trade, right? The 50 minute candle also doesn't yet have a downside wick, which just makes it a little bit lower probability, right? So we're not taking this. We'll just keep looking at the charts here, right? We have the inversion here now. So we can see we're continuing up here like we kind of expected, but didn't act on. And this is also one of the things. There's going to be a lot of signals in the market, a lot of opportunities for your system to buy or sell. Does that mean you should take all of those signals? No, not at all. You can see, for example, on this trade here, which I'll mark out again, right? We were looking at this before. This is a valid trade in my strategy. Did I take it? No. Why didn't I take it? It's a no news Monday, price didn't do exactly what I wanted to, and it is a trade with higher risk, which I did not want to take. Could this now be a winning trade? Of course it could. Am I mad that I didn't take it? Of course I'm not, right? Because I know that in the long run, a trade like this has a lot more risk than if it would fit all my criteria. So you can see here now the 15-minute is probably closing highly bullish, probably, when we still have over 7 minutes in the candle. So let's wait and see what happens on the 15, and then we'll act accordingly. So to take a buy, like I want to see a bit of a deeper retracement. Like I said, we had this buy here, but we didn't take it because yeah, just not perfect. I would like to see a deeper retracement because, like I said, we're at all-time highs, and I would like a target. And the target, of course, could only be internal range liquidity. Well, not internal range liquidity, but kind of internal structure because there's nothing to the left. So I would like to see something like this to take a buy, like we said earlier. Let's see how this 5-minute closes. If it can kind of show signs of bearishness of a retracement, or if it just continues up. We can see we've got a 3-minute FEG here. I don't look at the 3-minute that much, but could be interesting. It kind of co-aligns with these 1-minute FEGs here as well, though. What we're seeing here is a accumulation again. So what could happen is a move like this, but let's wait and see. So we can see the 5-minute candle ended up closing pretty bullish again. So yeah, we're literally just moving up here today. 15-minute candle, got 12 more minutes. Let's see if it will also be that bullish, or if we can get a little bit of a retracement to a zone. I mean, we've closed this now, so this becomes a 15-minute FEG here, right? But a retracement to here is kind of unlikely, simply because of how bullish this one here closed. Like, this candle closed extremely bullish, so it's unlikely that price will come all the way back down here and then up, right? What's more likely is that we create another 15-minute FEG here, for example, and then we will maybe trade into this and we continue higher. So this 15-minute candle didn't really move anywhere currently. We just had this retracement lower, and now we're pushing back up. So potentially this might also close as a pretty bullish candle as well. But let's wait and see. As I said, as I also put in the chat, no news Monday, right? So we're taking it chill, you know. If there's no trade, that's perfectly fine, because I am not a fan of trading on no news Monday. And if I do trade on no news Monday, usually I reduce my risk. So we can see we've got a 5-minute FEG here now. So this 5-minute candle could potentially close kind of like this, which then means we could potentially get a retracement into here, which means we could potentially get a trade out of here. A lot of potentials, right? A lot of could. So if any of this happens, who knows? That's the thing about trading. I say it all the time, but the fact that I do should tell you how important it is. We don't trade what we think could happen. We trade literally just what we see in the moment, right? Like I said in one of the last live streams, we want trades to jump out at us. Like, oh, this is a trade. Yes, I want to take this. Not like, this could be a trade potentially, blah, blah, blah. Because once you start using those words like, oh, potentially could be a good trade, just don't take it. Because if you don't think it's a perfect trade, then why would you take it? So let's wait here. We'll just wait on the 1-minute chart, see what happens if we get a retracement. Yeah. So what do we have here? A retracement, right? Let's look at this. Interesting, interesting. So it is late. I don't want to trade on my main accounts anymore. But if we close above this, I'll take it on a secondary account. Because we've already moved up quite a bit this session. The 15-minute actually just created an FEG here as well, so I would like maybe a tap into this here. That could be nice. Let's see. Also, I have a 50k account with Alpha Futures that we can trade live on the stream. Yeah. So we'll trade that one. We'll trade it pretty aggressively since it's a challenge account. We'll trade pretty aggressively, and then either it fails or it wins. And then once it wins, once we've got it in that funded stage, we'll of course tone down the risk a little bit on it and trade it more normally again. But yeah, this is the thing about funded accounts where you kind of have to think to yourself, are you a beginner or have you, let me put it like this, have you passed funded accounts before or have you not? If you haven't, treat your funded account low risk, or in general, if you don't have that much experience, treat your account rather low risk. If you have more experience, you can treat your accounts with a lot higher risk because otherwise you're kind of just wasting time sometimes when get stuck in evaluation phases for a month or something, right? Which is a waste of time. But like I said, if you're a beginner, it is definitely not a waste of time because as a beginner, what you need to do, what is the main priority, is that you show yourself that you can be profitable. You need that proof that you can be profitable, and that will kind of rewire your brain essentially. So yeah. So we are going lower, which I do like to see, because I like to see this 15-minute FEG getting tapped here. Let me mark it out for us. Let's wait and see here. So we can see we took this, oops, which I wanted, tapped into the 15-minute FEG. We also are building SMT here, so if we get a close above here, I would take a buy on my secondary accounts, right? So let's wait and see here. So still there is SMT here, kind of, but that of course doesn't mean anything. We'll wait here. Like if we were to take a buy, I would like to see a strong move out of this zone here. That's what I need to take a buy here. Let's see if we can get that in the next few minutes. Okay, looks like we are getting some sort of move upwards here. But let's see if this can continue. So let's see here. I would take this on this account here as well, because like I said, we're gonna trade this more aggressively. So let's see, but this candle is kind of not doing what we wanted to do. Oh yeah, it's actually continuing down bearish quite a bit. So nothing yet here. Okay, quite a strong rejection wick here though. And still SMT. Still SMT, this is very interesting. So let's see. This would be a potential trade here to take for me. So let's see if we do get a break above here. I want to get a break above here, this line that I marked. And I want it to be a good break, not like a little wick above it. A clean solid break with one of the next few candles. Seems like we are getting that. Yeah, let's buy here. So this is essentially our trade now. Right here. So we entered the trade right here. As you can see, kind of upon the close of this candle, we're simply targeting this internal liquidity because there is no other target available. So let's have this play out. You can see we entered the trade here because on the 15-minute we had retraced into the zone, right? On the 5-minute also retraced. On the 1-minute we had some heavy SMT here with the S, and then we had this strong move to the upside, so we entered on the close of this candle. Now we'll simply wait and let this play out and see what happens. So we can see this was a pretty crazy candle here. Very interesting. I want to check this out on ES. Okay, also crazy candle. Problem now that we have is that ES took this. ES took this high, NAS hasn't yet, which I don't like. That is something that I don't like, but we'll let the trade run to see what happens here. What I might do, since ES took that high and we are kind of at all-time highs, I want to reduce the risk on this. So potentially I'll take off one contract here. Or actually what I'll do is I'll move the SL to break even. Yeah, I'll move that to break even. So we're probably gonna exit the trade at break even here. Or yeah, break even or win, you know. That's what we'll do here. Because of the SMT at the high here. ES taking this, NAS not taking it. I want to stay on the safe side here. It is a no news Monday. Oh, why is my sell stop? Why did it move here? Ah, there we go. Confirmed it now, changed it to break even. So we can see potentially here we'll get taken out at break even. All right, and we got taken out at break even. Took a little, well, $10 on commission, doesn't really matter. We managed our risk well, right? Took the trade off here. That is how we manage our risk. Potentially what could have been done is taking the trade here, but no, I think we did well here. Took a break even, perfectly fine. That being said, because of the SMT here, I'm done for the day. I'm done for the day. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. And yeah, tomorrow, of course, is the next stream. So yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow, 9:30 again.